Hi, it's Riaz with you. In this video, today we can learn about how the debt mutual fund is working. You all know about debt mutual fund, but lot of people are confused which debt mutual fund I want to be choose. Debt mutual fund is actually a differentiate between equity mutual fund. Equity and the debts are both different apple. We cannot combine together. Debt mutual fund have own characters. It will less volatility when you compare to equity mutual fund. So debt mutual fund, there is a lot of categories in this debt mutual funds. Which one we want to choose? What is our requirement? We have to learn everything in this video. Let's come with learn about debt mutual fund. Before going to debt mutual fund, we want to know what is the risk was involved in debt mutual funds. See, through debt mutual fund, we can earn a regular income for a lifetime. If anybody knows about this, really they will choose a debt mutual fund in his portfolio. Debt mutual fund is one of the best product to protect our portfolio in the long swings also. Because I love debt mutual fund, I also invest heavily in debt mutual fund to reduce the volatility in my portfolio. Commonly, naturally, the debt mutual fund have two kinds of risk. One is credit risk, another one is interest rate risk. See, when you are choosing the credit risk, though some mutual funds are purchasing the NCD bonds and whatever the things they are purchasing below the rating of AA. When the rating below AA, it will be involved a high risk of default. So even the mutual fund company knows they have a credit risk. So only they are diversifying with 50 to 70, 80, sometimes 100 companies also in his debt mutual funds. So another one is interest rate risk. This is maximum this will become from MPC, the Monetary Policy Committee rate policy from RBI. It will be determined every month. Sometimes they will be increased, sometimes they will be decreased. It will be give some volatility to the debt mutual fund depend upon the duration. So everybody can be understand about debt mutual fund, but lot of people doesn't know about what the risk was involved in these kind of debt mutual funds. You know, before the Franklin Templeton have some issues in 2020 April, they shut down of 6 debt mutual funds. See, I also very hurried to invest on Franklin Templeton. Why they are giving this much of this kind of returns in those all the 6 funds are giving fantastic returns like 12%, 13%. Sometimes it's giving 15%. The ultra short term bond fund Franklin, these funds are giving around 11%. So none of other funds are not giving that much. So when I go through the portfolio, they have all the papers are below AA or unrated papers only they invested. Like small companies, they take a lot of risk and they invested and they shown the profit to the client also. So this is the saga where the where the mutual fund companies can be misused. When the SEBI is coming into the picture, all the debt mutual funds are strictly regulated now. So they cannot invest more than 10% of highly risky assets. Sometimes they want to be hold minimum liquid government securities contract like that. They have now the rules and regulation. Now the debt mutual fund little bit safe to invest. When we are coming to invest in the debt mutual fund, we have a different kinds of mutual funds. Like we have overnight have only 1 day maturity. The NCDR bond, there is only 1 day maturity. There is no risk of default. Sir, interest rate risk is very zero. There is no interest rate risk in this overnight fund. The returns are very low when you are comparing to any other funds. It will be 3 to 4% only. You can expect it every year. Like liquid and money market funds are 91 days to 1 year. This kind of funds have no risk also. Interest rate risk also very low or no. The return we can expect 5 to 7% depend upon the interest rate movement by the country. The third one is dynamic bond fund. this is holding 3 to 5 years of bonds. This is the risk was involved by fund manager. The risk was with fund managers only, because they will be shuffle the papers inside the fund. They will be, the value of the interest rate will be go down. They will be buy some other, they will be sold the old one, they will buy a new one, like that. They have a view. If the view is going wrong, this dynamic bond fund can give you a big loss also in the short term. So I always prefer this dynamic bond fund. It's only for long term. The interest rate risk is very high here. So another one is corporate bond fund. This is 1 to 3 years durations. The credit risk is very low, because the corporate bond funds, they are investing only AAA and the sovereign corporate bond, sovereign bond things also they are investing. The interest rate risk is also medium. It will not affect that much of our return also. Return expected, we can be expect 7 to 10%. The another one is banking and the PSU. The default risk, the credit risk is no risk, because both of them are controlled by government only. Banking and the PSUs. Banking is government governing by Reserve Bank of India, and the PSUs are holding of government of India and the Reserve Bank of India. Both of them are controlling these kind of companies. So there is no credit risk, in my opinion. The bank, the duration papers, they are holding like 1 to 3 years. The interest rate risk also is very medium. So I am investing in this banking and PSU or more than 7 years now finished. They give a fantastic return of 9.5% for me. So we can expect 10% in the long term. The another one is credit risk fund. I am not recommending this fund, because this is involved very high risk, and interest rate risk also very high, because the credit risk fund itself, the fund name itself, they have a risk. So you want to understand the risk in the portfolio. They are freely allowed to buy unrated bonds also. You are also taking risk. You are accepting the risk also. So only the credit risk fund can give a slightly higher returns, but I am not recommending to invest in this fund. Another one is the gilt fund. This is government securities bond fund. The duration is 10 to 30 years. The credit risk in this fund is, there is no risk. The interest rate risk is very high. So see, when the market, when the interest rate is going down or going up, the volatility in this gilt fund is very high. So those who have a stomach to digest this volatility, you can go ahead. This is not for short term. This is only for long term purpose only. You can be invest. The another one is floater fund. It is the very low risk. The interest rate risk also is very medium, because when the interest rate is low, they will be shuffled the portfolio according to the interest rate. So we can expect a return of 7 to 11%. Another one is short term fund, is 1 to 3 years duration. The credit risk is very low risk here. The interest rate risk is medium, 7 to 8% you can be get it. The medium term fund is 3 to 4 years. Credit risk will be a low risk to medium risk we have. Interest rate risk is very high here. We can be expect a return of 6 to 10%. The long duration fund is 7 years plus. The credit risk is very high. The interest rate risk also very high. Return expected 8 to 10%. But you want to be choose which duration is perfect for me. I will tell one thing: with the low duration, the low volatility. If you are choosing a liquid fund or overnight fund or corporate bond fund, these things are very low volatility when you're comparing to gilt fund or long duration fund or medium term fund, credit risk fund. So I always prefer to invest in corporate bond fund, banking fund, and liquid and overnight. I am and floater fund. I am not recommending any other fund to add in my portfolio, or I am not recommending to anybody also. This is the fully your responsibility how you are thinking and ready to invest in this kind of fund. So in the next video, I will become which fund you want to be invest. Whatever I invested, I will show you how I can manage this debt mutual fund. So when one time is invested, I am not touching anything. So it will be a lifelong income I keep for them. I keep for my next generation also. So choosing the right fund is a big task here. So next video I will become with a detailed view of which fund we can be invest and recommended by me. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.